is the 8th. I agree. Can't tell you what day of the week, but.
Yeah. So I guess just like the last 3 games in particular, we've seen improvements in under 300 yards, even up to Wisconsin. In the last 2 weeks, over 400, but still it seems like you guys have done a good job of limiting scoring, just getting off the field. What have you seen as the kind of turnaround point?
You know, I think it's, some of the experience that the guys got earlier in the season, you know what I mean? Getting a couple guys back always helps too. And just, there is a learning curve for those young men who played a lot early. And as they get more reps, they continue to get better, and that's great to see. And I think that, they understand what we're doing and what they're supposed to do in it and how to communicate in those things. And I think that's always a benefit to the defense as a whole and the team as a whole,
Scottie, I talked about the other day, sort of a more depth of scheme, just you guys adding things as the years gone on. I'm just wondering from your perspective what that process has been like, and if you could sort of quantify like how much more advanced the guys are now compared to game 1, 2, 3.
Sure. You put in things as the season goes. You really put in things during fall camp and spring ball. And then when you get every week's an evaluation of what you can do, and that depends on who's on the field, who's with you, who has all those things, and sometimes you do handcuff yourself a little bit, and a few weeks ago we kind of said, what, screw it, let's go, and these guys are ready to continue to take the next step and the next step and the next step, and we've been doing that, and it's helped us, especially when you got to the the third downs, getting off the field, those kind of things, you add your layers in, and that always helps you. Distract a quarterback, whatever. He doesn't know, maybe mess up with an O-line every once in a while. But it's been good to continue to do that and keep the process moving.
Scottie, considering the injury you had already been dealing with at the start of the year, and then with the suspensions and all that, just how far you had to go down the depth chart. What was last week like for you in terms of how challenging was it? I know you got 4 tackles playing along the line. Just having that depth that we didn't really know much about, being able to kind of do what you guys did last week.
Sure, I think it was it was, I don't know what word I'm looking for. It was great to see how the guys responded to that. You know what I mean? They did a good job embracing the adversity that there was or whatever happened with, and it was good to see guys be able to say, hey, listen, everybody's on this team for a reason. They wouldn't be here if they couldn't play. And to be able to step up and to see young guys be able to put things that they learned earlier in the season into practice, old guys be able to say, hey, listen, yes, I can step out there and do that job, and I can do those. Those are all great things to see, and just come together and play as a team. And that's really what it's about, guys saying, listen, I'm going to do my job, even though it's not the job that I started with at the beginning of the season, but I'm going to do that job to the best of my ability and do as good as I can to help the team, and it worked out pretty well.
How different it is for you when you got the injuries, particularly in game?
Sure.
Are you cognizant of that, or is that just up to position coaches to kind of handle it? Particularly, I'm thinking about Avery Dunn going out there at that one point, and then now you're literally left with all pretty much defensive tackles to go with that.
Yeah, sure. The trainers do a great job during the whole game communicating with everybody. They'll get them up and get tapped, and they'll tell the position coach and the special teams. It's a whole system behind the system. That's why they all have mics on and stuff like that. So you'll know the whole time there's consistent communication on the sideline, and that's something that Coach Tuck did a good job setting up a long time ago. So you'll instantly know if someone's hey, this guy's down, you might not have whatever, and different personnel packages or whatever. They do a good job communicating with us as a training staff. Oh, sure. I think it's all what can you do with who's in the game and what can you not do. And sometimes you need to just say, you know what, if you need this certain thing right now, you need it, and that guy's got to do the best he can to do that job, but it does alter your calls a little bit.
How different would this season have been? Have you thought about it if you don't lose a Xavier, Jake Burley, in terms of the trajectory of those young guys? Are there things that you thought we'll be further along or we'll be able to do earlier if we have the veterans and the right voices back there?
Sure, I think that's a hard thing to be able to tell. You would like to say, sure, it's different all the time, but the reason we are where we are right now is because all those things happen. It's like, I don't know. I don't know if I can talk about it. It's like King David being a great king that he was because he lived in caves and got and got chased by King Saul for most of his life. You know what I mean? The adversity is what makes who you are, you know, and going through those things and being able to say, okay, hey, do we trust a young man that has a lot more playing time now, that got that playing time because someone else owned that? Well, yeah, and does that give you more options now than it might have early? I don't know. You can't really answer that question, but I know that what we are now is different than what we were at the beginning of the season because a lot of those guys got a lot of reps and got experience.
So who are those, when you say those young guys, like who are you really?
Like, I mean, I think you've seen like a guy like Mangum play and Tatum and Malik Spencer's been out there lately. And I mean, we put in guys in the games that you can say, you know, I mean, Chaz has been in and out and you know, we've had people as they go through and run through say, hey, you know, Mangum's got quite a bit of experience as a true freshman and he's out there making plays for us and showing what he can do now. And when you come into a season, do you always trust a true freshman? You know, I mean, that's always one of those, hey, yeah, sure, we trust him, but it's really time to put him in you know, but it forces you to do that, and he gets experience, and now you say, listen, you got no problem him being on the field a lot, you know? Guys like that, or even the D tackles where we say, listen, we're nicked up early. Well, all those guys got experience, and now they understand the whole scheme, so to move one to a defensive end it's different, sure, but it's not gonna impact you as it might have done it week one, you know, those kind of things.
Scottie, what did you see from Malik Spencer? He looked like he was confident in his ability to communicate and run on a little bit of.
That's right. I mean, he's done. I mean, he's a different guy. You know, even when he was out, he was in the back, moving around, doing the thing because his legs worked. You know, and to see him taking all those mental reps, sometimes you would see like, you know, we'd be at practice and he'd be 40 yards in the back mirroring, you know, whoever he was playing behind. And I think all those reps helped him. You know, I think that, you know, as he continues to get better, he'll be able to communicate better. I think that's one of the things that he still needs to work on a little bit. But, you know, at least he's not out there taking reps for the first time like he just got back on the field. You know, he put himself in a position and worked himself into being able to move and do all the things you need him to do. And you know, when you're out there and you're making all the calls, it's a little bit different. But, you know, he's working himself into that role and doing some good things.
You've been doing this a long time. Is there anything in your career you can draw upon, not to say it'd be the same, obviously, but to go through 1 week you got these guys, and next week there's 8 guys that were part of the trial roster that are just out of the mix?
You know, I think every season is different, and to say that exact thing's happened to anybody before, no, I don't know. But there's been seasons you've been through before where, hey, you're projected to be here, you know, you're the best team in the country, or you're whatever, and then you do lose a guy or two, you know, or we've been, you know, I've been part of a roster that was already depleted before we started just because we were limited scholarships and things like, you know, so you get those different situations, and every place has a unique set of adversity that comes along, and it makes you stronger, and every place has a unique strength that makes you stronger, and you can really lean on it. You know, like here, the culture is so good. The guys work so hard, you know. They'll go out there and hit anybody, you know what I mean, and they'll try as hard as they can, and those things are great things that our players have that's been built into this culture, you know, for a long time, and really these guys embrace, and you can see it when you get, you know, sometimes you end up in the red zone, how you get, whatever, but they don't care. You know, they're going to keep, as long as there's an inch to play, they're going to defend it, you know, and that's what you love about these guys is they do work, they'll fight until the end of the game, no matter what happens, they'll play the next play, no matter what, they work as hard as they can all the time, and that's what you love about them, and that's why they still go through all the adversity that we've had.
Considering the way it was going early in the season, 4 straight losses, a lot of the outside pressure of what's going on with the defense, to see the way this thing has kind of turned around the last few weeks, the way you guys, your unit in particular, has played such a big role, does that make it more gratifying to you? Do you pay any attention whatsoever to the noise and the nonsense outside?
You really try not to. You know, I mean, it's something that Coach Tux talks to the team about too. You know, who knows what's really going on are the guys in the building, and you try to shield them from as much as you can, and to do it, you know, I always make fun of it. Sure, there's stuff that I'd love to do, but you don't because you're a coach and you try to, you know, portray that. So, you know, you try to stay away from that as best you can. Sure, you hear it. You know, you don't exactly know what's being said about you outside, but you know it's bad or it's whatever. And the truth is never about that. You know, I mean, we talked about how, you know, at the beginning of the season, we talked about, you know, how, yeah, we were number one in sacks, well, because we saw more passes, and, you know, things, there's truth within all those things that you hear, good or bad, you know, and what's the real reason why, and as a coach, you try to stay in that truth as best you can, and block out all the other things that you can. You do your best.
We got one more, Chris, and then Nick.
I'm wondering about blending going 4-3. What's allowed you guys to do that? And particularly a guy like Aaron, who is getting more reps this week and as the season goes on, how has that kind of maybe changed something?
You know, that was kind of the plan going into it, you know, and, you know, Brule was coming along, and you know, really the snow one is the one that kind of, and Brule's been getting better the entire season, you know what I mean? And he's earned, you know, when he's in, he's made some plays, and he's earned the right to get more snaps, and we're trying to do that and really get, you know, at least 3 linebackers on the field sometimes together, or, you know, switch out the guys and give them some breaks, you know, and he's done a good job, you know, working through, learning the scheme, and it's a lot for him because he plays so many different positions, you know, and to get him where he feels comfortable at, hey, I can go play Will, I could go play Sam, I could go rush, I could do, you know, and be able to do some of that stuff. He's gotten comfortable there, and it's helped him out, and he's playing at a higher level, and he's making more plays, so it's been good.
What about the 4-3 itself? Has that changed some of the dynamics of what the defense has done?
Sure, you know, I don't know, because Snow really played that, you know, spot some last year, so it was a little bit like we were. You know, we had kind of that hybrid dude that could do a little bit of everything. But I think that it's made you more stout in certain situations when you needed it, for sure. You know, I mean, that's what you always want to do. You want to try to match personnel the best you can, you know, whatever personnel they come out in.
Rutgers' offense is 30% on third downs, doesn't do anything that's really that scary. People probably can write off this kind of matchup when it comes to your defense going up against them. What have you seen that's been dangerous you guys would be ready for when it's going?
You know, I mean, number one is an explosive little dude. I mean, he can go make some plays wherever. Crookshanks is a good player. You know what I mean? They have played a bunch of different quarterbacks, so to see who they're going to play in there, you know what I mean? I know their backs have been nicked up, and they've got a little bit of an injury bug, but there's some guys in there that run really hard and do some stuff, you know? So, and they always have, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, 21 is a dude that plays everywhere. You know what I mean? He's a weapon, whether he's a quarterback or a tight end, or he's split out, or he's carrying the ball, or doing whatever. You know, they have some different things and some different things schematically that like everybody, like we saw last week, you know, if we're not on our game and we're not focused on each snap, you know, one play, you know, turn in a 67-yard touchdown, and, you know, you take away, you know, but you never know when that play is going to be. And everybody, I think, in the Big Ten, everybody that you play in football has a guy that can do those things and hurt you if you're not focused and you're not right and you're not communicating, you're not in the right thing, or whatever happens to you, and you try to limit those things best you can. So, all right, thank you all. See you guys.
Thanks.